first PPT. Open your first PPT immediately. So that I can check. Yeah, it has come. Open it.
Open. Already open.
Okay. So just wait. When I will say okay, then you switch off your Google Meet and you start presenting. Okay.
No, then I have to make it downside. Then when I go for there, my problem is when I make it come down and switch off the Google Meet, where I have to present then.
You just present your PPT. You need not.
Again, I have to make it upload and present the PPT.
No,
then
not upload. You start.
No, I have to make it minimize. Then only I can switch off the Meet, Google Meet.
So first you switch off your Google Meet.
First.
Then the minimize PPT you open and you start presenting.
Minimize, I have to maximize it and then start presenting.
Yeah, but please switch off your Google Meet. Leave the Google Meet. Otherwise, there will be two sounds.
But now when I minimize and maximize, switch off the Google Meet, if I face any problem, I will not get any response from you.
Gaurav, let it start in the beginning. There may be echo. Then she can start. Sir, it is not possible. Sir, it is not possible because there is a delay in the Google Meet presentation and there is Facebook. They are not synchronized, right? So on Facebook there will be two output and there will be echo, like in the previous session.
Or otherwise, I will record the Google Meet and the record I will send to all PSCs.
Elizabeth, just listen to me. You are live on Facebook right now. Whatever you are speaking to me, it is going to all the learners.
Okay.
Right? So listen. You just open your PPT.
Open.
Before starting on the slideshow mode, you just switch off the Google Meet and come on the slideshow mode and start talking.
Yes. Okay, then it will go.
Yeah.
But I cannot see.
Or you do one thing. You mute your Google Meet.
Okay.
You mute your Google Meet. Sir will also mute his Google Meet. I will also mute my Google Meet. Let Google Meet will be at the base. You stop sharing. You stop sharing.
Which one?
Stop presenting and mute it. I will also mute myself. Okay.
Now it is.
Sir, you also mute yourself, please.
Now whether the this thing is coming, PPT. Oh.
So Elizabeth, it's okay. We can watch your PPT now, and it is coming perfectly.
Now the PPT is seen.
So
now
I ask you to go to the slideshow mode and just talk some introductory parts about the first slide so that I can confirm.
Visual art forms in teaching learning process. Is it coming? Voice. Hello?
You are on mute, Elizabeth.
Mute? I am not on mute.
Yeah, what are the problem?
Is it coming now?
Yeah, it is coming. You just mute yourself, go on a presentation mode and start presenting.
Now it is in the mute mode only. Whether it is okay?
You are not mute. You are talking to me. Please mute yourself.
When I mute, you said unmute.
You were saying something, no? That's why. You please mute. Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Are you able to listen to me? You just put your thumb. Are you able to listen to me? Don't talk.
Hello?
Okay. Just go on the slideshow mode. Just go on the slideshow mode, Elizabeth. From the top, from beginning, yes. Okay, you are coming perfectly. After 2 minutes, you can start. You just switch your mobile off and you can start.
Hello. Shall I start now? Okay. No, now I am going to start. I am not going to read it. Okay. Good morning to all listeners and all PICs. Today, this session is mainly dealing with visual art forms in teaching learning process. So let us say about something, the EPC courses. Myself, Elizabeth Kuruvilla from School of Education only. And here, the B.Ed program, it consists of 3 broad curricular areas. And you know that the first area, it deals with theory courses. The second one, engagement with the field or practicum. And the third one, school internship. Let me see what is coming under the theory courses. You can see it can be divided into 2, the perspectives in education, curriculum and pedagogic studies. Engagement with the field, it is divided into 3, tasks and assignments that run all through the courses, school internship and courses on enhancing professional capacities. And then we can see the school internship. So here, now we are going to see what are the objectives of EPC courses. The first objective is to enhance professional capacities of a student teacher. The second one, to develop personal self as a teacher. So these are the 2 important objectives regarding the EPC courses. So here we can see that we might be thinking what is the need of these visual art forms in teaching learning process. Let me see what does NEP 2020 state about art integration. Art integration is a cross-curricular pedagogical approach that utilizes various aspects and forms of art and culture as the basis for learning of concepts across subjects. As a part of the thrust on experiential learning, art integrated education will be embedded in classroom transactions, not only for creating joyful classrooms, but also for imbibing the Indian ethos through integration of Indian art and culture in the teaching and learning process at every level. So this art integrated approach will strengthen the linkages between education and culture. Now let me see what is the definition that we can give for visual art. The visual arts are art forms that create works that are primarily visual in nature, such as ceramics, drawing, painting, sculpture, printmaking, design, crafts, photography, video, filmmaking and architecture. And now we may be thinking, why this art integration? Earlier in our school days, we know that we have a separate period for drawing, craft making or gardening, something like that. So now whether art should be taught as a separate subject or it should be integrated within the curriculum. That is the question coming in our mind. So let me see what is the quotations given by some of the famous persons who are in the field of the art. Let me take the example of Thomas L. Friedman. He describes in his influential book, The World is Flat, that aesthetic and creativity are just as important as technical knowledge in the new economy. So now when we look at these visual art forms, we can say that this integration is the new speciality. So here when we think of these visual arts, first thing what comes in our mind is fine art as well as the applied decorative arts and crafts. And all of us may be familiar with the fine arts. Fine arts such as painting, sculpture or printmaking is there. But generally speaking, when we say about the visual arts, there is about the fine arts as well as the applied arts. So what comes under applied arts? It is industrial design, graphic design, fashion design, interior design and decorative design. So let me go to the next slide. What is the purpose of visual art forms? When we think of the purpose of visual art forms, the first purpose that it serves as a source of aesthetic experience. And when we think of this aesthetic experience, we can see that this aesthetic experience is very much needed. And when we think of a child for the holistic development, there comes the importance of the development of cognitive, affective and cognitive domains. So here, aesthetic, when we try to define it, aesthetic is the branch of philosophy that explains the nature of art, creation and expression of beauty in various forms of art. And this aesthetic experience is very much important. But let me go to the second purpose, that is it acts as a source of human understanding. So this art, it has given us some kind of understanding. When we look to the nature, the visual forms, that gives us some kind of understanding. And third one, that it acts as a means of developing creative and flexible forms of thinking. So we can develop the creative thinking in the minds of the learners as well as the flexible forms of thinking process. Fourthly, we can see that it is a means of helping students understand and appreciate art. We may say that I am not an artistic person, I don't know how to draw, but even at least when we look at the art, we have the ability to appreciate the different art forms. And next point, when we think of the purpose of visual art form, it leads to language development. Let you think about your school days when you are a member of different clubs. Sometimes you may be of the literary club or social science club or science club. There what is happening through the club activities or through the visual art presentation, just the image will not serve the purpose. What you have to do is that you have to explain what is your artistic explanation or artistic creation. And the next point, that it leads to his or her sense of personal identity and self-esteem. So this point, when I also think that I have a doubt in my mind that how art leads to personal identity and self-esteem. Let me have a short discussion on this point, how art can lead to a sense of personal identity and self-esteem. So students, they are engaged in artistic expression with sensory stimulation, then moves to emotional response, then follows an experience impulsive and arrives at a kinesthetic action. So here we can see that through the produce of artworks, students are able to integrate home, school and social life and begin to make meaning of their individual situations and develop contextual thought processes. So this is one kind of the identity that a learner is developing through the self. Then coming to the next point, that is the space. You know that without a space, the artistic experience cannot be reflected. We need a separate studio. So what is the importance of this space? The art room itself acts as an important space for the creation of art as well as the development of artistic identities. Here, let I quote Alison Bay, the famous art. She argues that physical space, especially a working studio, has a crucial role to play in reinforcing artistic identity in women. There must be an emotional attachment to a physical space to create a sense of belonging and purpose. And you know that you may be reminding or I may be remembering the teachers. We have good teachers as well as great teachers. What is the difference between these two, good teachers and great teachers? The good teachers teach their subject matter well, whereas the great teachers engage students in the learning task of the moment and instill in them the desire to keep learning long after graduation. That's why we will say that education is what? When everything is over, what is left in our mind? That is education. So here comes the relevance of the visual art forms. And it seems clear that the teachers we remember most are the ones with whom we had a reciprocal relationship. So here, when we think of this art in terms of personal identity and self-esteem, we say that it leads to a process which is known as reciprocal transformation. So this reciprocal transformation is happening through this sense of personal identity, self-esteem. How is it happening to the artistic expression? Coming to the next slide, you can see a famous quote by Rabindranath Tagore. He stated thus, I shall not define art, but question myself about the reason of its existence and try to find out whether it owes its origin to some social purpose or the need of catering for our aesthetic enjoyment, or whether it has come out of some impulse of expression which is the impulse of our being itself. It is there in your uh, drama and art in education EPC. And you know that in the first year courses there are two EPC. We are dealing with the second year courses EPC only. In second year you can see drama and art in education will be there and understanding self and yoga. These are the two EPC that you have to cover second year. So here from this quotation, what you are getting? Here Tagore is emphasizing not on instrumental benefits of art, but he is emphasizing the natural benefits. What are the natural benefits? The act of captivation, the artistic expression, the enjoyment that one person is getting. So it is coming in as from this definition. So let me see what are the types of art. When we look at the types of art, we can say that the art can be classified as creative writing, dance, music, visual and media. When we try to classify in a nutshell, we may say that it can be classified into two. That is, it can be classified into as the visual arts, the second one, the performing arts. What do you mean by this creative writing? So here, creative writing, it helps students to explore and express their understanding of the world around them. Then coming to the dance, which is a performing arts, it helps students to develop kinesthetic skills in the students and engrains discipline, control, rhythm and graciousness in the learner. When coming to the music, which is also a visual art, which is also a performing arts, students learn the art of expression and communication through sound. Students learn to create, perform, listen perspectively and analyze music. When coming to the visual and media, their students are taught a specific technique in some visual medium. So what are the concepts and skill development that a learner gets through these visual art forms? This is our next discussion. So here when we think of these concepts and skill development, we can say that it develops awareness of the qualities of line, shape, color, texture, pattern and rhythm and spatial organization. So here from the awareness of line, what is happening? From the awareness of line, There, they begin to discover that lines can have a variety of qualities and can make shapes. Next, we can see that these lines begin to represent familiar figures and objects with free lines and shapes. And next, about what awareness of shape that a learner is getting. That is, become sensitive to shape in the visual and the tactile environment and experiment with shapes in compositions, in collage, print and drawing. What awareness of forms that a learner is getting, that is become aware of the three-dimensional nature of form and of form in objects. And next one we can see it make impressions in clay then or plaster of Paris. With that they can make the expression, different forms. So you know that it gives a difference between a two-dimensional and a three-dimensional objects. You know that we know that a picture, a photograph, it relates to a two-dimensional concept. But when we come to a clay modeling or plaster of Paris, we can say it is in three-dimensional. And next one, we get an awareness of color. That is, it recognize and mix primary colors. It use color expressively and to create effects. And next, awareness about the texture. The texture it gives that it explore the relationship between the things, feel and how they look. It create variety in surface textures using a range of materials and tools. So this is about the texture. And next about the awareness of pattern and rhythm. It become aware of pattern and rhythm in his or her visual surroundings. And it use materials to create patterns. And next awareness, that is an awareness of space. That is develop awareness of how people and objects take up space. Next, begin to make basic structures, begin to show relationships between objects and figures in drawings. So let me see, when we think of the selection of themes for art education, you know that when we go to NCERT textbook 2008 based on this artistic art education, there the visual arts that is prescribed for upper primary 6 to 8 years classes, we can see that the themes taken are, so always take it as a theme in your classroom. When you teach about any unit, there are different themes that is coming out or the concepts. So take it as themes, objects, people, traditions, environment, experiences. And then methods, drawing, painting, printmaking. Then ceramics, sculpture, architecture. Then fibers like weaving. And then mixed media you can use, that is collage. That speaks a lot. Then about the outdoor activities. What are the outdoor activities? Field visits, you can take them to field visits. After the visit, you can ask your learner what you have seen. Draw it in a good way. As a scenery, what are the things that you have observed? Next, the outdoor sketching, celebration of national days, festivals, visit to a museum, gallery, exhibition, monuments or a religious site. These are the outdoor activities that you can conduct. Coming to the next selection of themes for art education, you can see that it is the secondary, that is from the 9th to the 10th standard. The themes that you can select it are tradition based, environment based, object based, people based. So there the methods, two-dimensional arts you can ask them to make, that is drawing, painting, collage making, photography. Then is three-dimensional arts, sculpture, clay modeling, construction, pottery. Then comes the outdoor activities. What are the outdoor activities? Field visits, outdoor sketching, celebration of national days, festivals, visit to a museum, gallery, exhibition, monuments, religious sites, everything is coming. Next, from the picture, from the screen, you can find out what is that? A collage, but it is conveying a symbol of love, that is conveying. So what is this collage? It comes from the French collar, to glue or to stick together. It is a technique of art creation primarily used in the visual arts by which Art results from an assemblage of different forms, thus creating a new whole. So, coming to the next slide, you can see this is another visual art form. What is that? In your school, you may be asking your learners to do. Teachers, you are more familiar than us, that because it is a daily activity in your school activities. So what? In your display board, or in the display board you are asking them to display. Suppose you have taught about the different states. So here you can see Rajasthan, the state of Rajasthan, what the map is showing there, and the different traditional symbols are given, and there will be the writings. So what it is conveying is that for every class you can make it something on a visual format. Let's come to the next. What is this? The Rangoli. And here, what is this? You can see that this is related with the Attapu, the Ona Pookalam. So let me see how we can find the essential thing from here. So here what is that the Pookalam. So from these two pictures, earlier one, the Rangoli, Pookalam, everything. So how would you relate with the cultural sense? So now I am going to relate it with the culture. How art forms are relating with the culture. So here you can see that the etymology of Rangoli, it is derived from the Sanskrit word Rangavalli, and the various names for this art form and similar practices include, you know that Mugu in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, Rangoli in Karnataka, and Kolam in Tamil Nadu, Mandana in Rajasthan, Chauk Purana in Chhattisgarh, Alpana in West Bengal, and Jyoti in Odisha, Haripan in Bihar, Chauk Pujan in Uttar Pradesh, Chauk Purana in Punjab, Pookalam in Kerala, Rangoli in Maharashtra, and Satya in Gujarat, Aipan in Uttarakhand. So you can see, you can connect with a picture, that is the concept of Rangoli, how it is relevant in different states. What are the meanings? What are the beliefs behind it? These all things you are getting from this type of presentations. So everybody know that this Rangoli, it is drawn at the entrance of a house and various materials are used. What are the materials? Some may use turmeric, rice flour, or other forms of white dust powder is used for drawing Rangoli. And see the pattern. The pattern reveals creativity of the person. See what things you can teach through this Rangoli. That is the geometrical shapes, which is an important thing that you can teach to your students. There is a mathematical calculation for the drawing of this type of Rangoli and everything. Next, come to the belief system that it is considered auspicious as it signifies showing of good luck and prosperity on the house and in the family. So here we can see that from the Rangoli, what are the different elements in Rangoli? See the color and the symbols. Some major symbols used in Rangoli are the lotus flower, its leaves, mango, fish, different kinds of birds and human figures. Let me look at the materials used to make the Rangoli. There you can see that this art is prevalent in all homes, rich or poor. So there is no difference between the rich people and the poor people with the aspect of this Pookalam or Rangoli. Whatever may be the circumstances, the economic status, everybody can make this type of visual art forms, which denotes a particular type of belief system. And then this art is prevalent in all homes, rich or poor, as the materials are available, are easily available. Sometimes some people may use rice flour or dried powder made from the leaves color or charcoal, wood sawdust, etc. So next, when we look at the background of Rangoli, we can see that the Rangoli used the background of a clear floor or wall. Next, about the shapes or patterns. It includes the face of Hindu deities, geometric shapes, and round floral designs. Coming to the shape, design, and material, we can see it can be influenced by regional traditions. So, what we are getting an understanding of the regional traditions, the belief system, the materials. You can see that in North India, a square grid is common, whereas in South India, a hexagonal grid is important in the preparing this Rangoli, especially the Onam Rangoli. When we look at the Onam Rangoli. So, what is importance here is that the cultural development of Rangoli in the south originated in the era of Chola rulers. So, as a history teacher, how you can connect this Rangoli or the Pookalam with the dynasty that ruled? What are the belief systems? What are the materials used? Everything is coming into the picture. So you see what understandings you can make your learners to learn about this Rangoli and everything. And let us say something about the Pookalam. So here you know that when the celebrations come, and now you know that the Diwali is coming ahead. What type of Rangoli you are going to use? Sometimes you may use the pictures of the deities, that is important. So here the Pookalam, the flower Rangoli, the floor Rangoli known as Ona Pookalam or just Pookalam is made out of the gathered blossoms with varieties of flowers. You can see there are different flowers are used for this Ona Pookalam. And you can see there are different circles in that. It has a meaning. So you can convey to the students what is the meaning of that. And these flowers, they are pinched into small pieces to design and decorate patterns on the floor. The Pookalam is similar to Rangoli, which is made of powders of various colors and is popular in North India. The traditional ritual of laying Pookalam, it starts on Attam day. So Attam, that is the Pookalam on this day is called Attappu. You know that the Ona Pookalam, we call it as Attappu. Why? It has a link between the day which it is connected. So, and it is relatively small in size. The size of the Pookalam grows in size progressively with each day. That denotes the circle. The first day, one circle only, one type of flower. The second day, the next circle, another type of flowers. So, they use at least 10 flowers to represent some kind of that culture. So, this is the meaning. But nowadays, the young generations don't have understandings about what is the belief system or what type of understandings is behind between this behind the Rangoli or the Ona Pookalam like that. So what is happening is that the size of the Pookalam grows in size progressively with each day of the Onam festival. Only yellow flowers will be used on Attam with only one circular layer. See the first circular layer, here you can see what is only the yellow colors are using. Traditionally, Atta Pookalam included 10 flowers. So this is about that this Attappu or the Ona Pookalam. See, as a teacher, how it is very good to link between one concept with different states. How are we doing it in our classroom? So now let us say something about this visual art forms, what type of understandings a learner is getting. That is the significance of visual perception in education. Let us say something about the perception. Perception is the process of attaining information and understanding of effects of environment and through the sense organs. We know that we will get the visual arts through the sense organs. That may be the eyesight or the touching, the tactile sight we are getting. The sense of sight is the most efficient organ of the ability of human cognition because it takes in visual data and records them. So visual perception It refers to the visual framework of spatial location of entire scene objects right here or a part of visual world. Visual perception is visual thinking. Before we learn to connect ideas and meanings with words, we learn to identify elements of our world using visual cues such as shapes and colors. So here also you can see the shape what is used here in the aspect of this Ona Pookalam or Attappu. And you can see that what are the elements included in this Rangoli or thing. The first thing we may give emphasize the colors and symbols. So you can make the students to understand about the different colors and symbols. Some major symbols used in Rangoli, I have already discussed what are the things are used, what are the materials are used, how the shapes and patterns are conveyed, and shape, design and material. All these understandings can be developed through one visual art form. You see, how is it useful in your classroom teaching when the students say that the lecturing is very much monotonous? Can't we shift from the lecturing to the visual art forms in the teaching learning process where our teaching become more efficient and more interesting? And you know that the teaching and learning process will become a joyful experience in our classroom. Next, let I go to the another concept, that is the multicultural education. So suppose as a teacher, whatever be the level, you may thinking that this visual art forms is good in the primary class or the upper primary class or at the school level. No, it's not like that. It is essentially useful at different classes. You can see that the different classes, whether it is the primary class or the higher education level, we can say that this visual art forms, it is very much important in every classroom situations. So how is it important? We can see that this multicultural education, suppose in your pre-service classroom, you want to teach about the multicultural education. You know the meaning that multicultural education, from the term itself, you will understand there are different cultures. So it doesn't mean that it promote only human relations. But through this multicultural education, it also help the students feel good about themselves or to preserve students' cultures. So what is happening is there the preservation of the student cultures. And you know very well who is the propounder of this multicultural education, that is James Bank. James Bank explored different approaches to the integration of multicultural content into the curriculum. So he proposed three approaches. Let I say a little bit how I am going to integrate this multicultural education to the main concept, that is the visual art form. There are three approaches that James Bank has put forward about the multicultural education. The first one, the contribution approach. The second one, the additive approach. The third, the transformative approach. And the fourth one, the social justice approach. Let me see in the contribution approach. Sometimes we may be adopting this contribution approach, that the celebration of heroes and heroines, that is happening sometimes in our classroom. Next one, the additive approach, that is the celebration of the important national days and everything. And the next one, the social action approach, that is we are going to take some social action for conveying this multicultural understanding. And the next approach, that is the transformative approach. Let I give one example of this transformative approach. You can see this is one example of transformative approach. Before entering into this example of transformative approach, let I say a little bit about this transformative approach. It enables students to see concepts from several cultural perspectives. So this transformative approach, you can see that as a learner in classroom or as a person, how do we perceive the different cultures that exist in the world? Look at the screen. You can see that there are different pictures. What is the picture coming at the center of the screen? When you look at the center, everybody may know and identify the picture. You may say that it is the representation or it is the symbol of ornament. Suppose you want to teach about ornaments in a transformative approach way. How do you teach these ornaments in the transformative approach using visual art forms? That thing I had represented in the screen. So here you can see that in the center you are giving the main theme, whereas it is surrounded by different pictures. So when you look at these pictures, you can see that what questions you can arise from the first picture that denotes a person who is there and doing something. You can see the first picture on the screen that a person is doing something. So what question you can elicit and try to get the response from the learners? The question that you can elicit is that you may be asking the question as who makes them? So from this question, students will try to answer who is making this type of things. Goldsmith, they will tell several things because across the country, you can see that in one country who is making, in another country who is making. So in different countries' perspective, you can ask this question and get the response. And next question from the next picture, that is a boy and a girl wearing the ornaments. That picture. From that picture, what question you can elicit? Who wears them? So here, normally we may say that the women are more crazy about these ornaments. Not like that. In festivals or in special occasions, both male and female, they are wearing ornaments. So here, the students will come to know on what occasions ornaments are wearing. So you can see where the child is embroidered with different kinds of ornaments. Ladies, during the time of the wedding ceremonies or during any special occasions, these ornaments are wearing. And the next you can see the different types of ornaments. So what kind of ornament? The question arises, what kind of ornaments? So they may say bracelets, petals, earrings, bangles. So these are the types, what kind of ornaments. And coming to the next part, you can see the bangles in the green color on the screen. There you may elicit the question, what are they made of? There comes the importance of material. So here in different countries, different people or different materials are used or raw materials are used for making ornaments. Sometimes bronze, sometimes silver, sometimes gold. So different kinds of ornaments. And you know that from the ivory also these ornaments are making. So here we will get the concept, what are they made of. And then coming to the next part, you can see a tribal people who are standing together. There the question comes, what ornaments are worn in other countries? So here you can see that what ornaments are worn in other countries. So based on the tribal background or the locality, people wear different kinds of ornaments. You see, both the male and the female, they have wear different kinds of ornaments. And coming to the next picture, you can say that what question you can elicit is that on what part of our body do we wear them? So you can see the ear, nose, forehead, the neck, different parts of our body are embroidered with the different kinds of ornaments. So this type of understandings. And another one, you can see the nose. also we are putting the ornament. And you can see the difference in different cultures, which are the parts, body organs are embroidered with ornaments. And coming to the last picture, the two pictures, you can ask the question that when do we wear them? When do we wear them? So here you can see a special occasion. The first one that denotes that is during the marriage occasion, that ornaments are wear, wedding ceremonies. Then the next one, that is a girl, a small, an adolescent girl is sitting. So that occasion is a Tiruvandukuli. What do you mean by this Tiruvandukuli is that, especially in Tamil Nadu, when a girl child attain maturity, there occurs a ceremony known as Tiruvandukuli. The child is bathed in turmeric and wear new clothes, and in that way the child is sitting. So what is happening is that on different occasions ornaments are worn, ornaments are wearing. So here we can see that all these understandings can be taken through visual art forms. Whether I use any verbal typing here, no, you can see only the figures, the pictures, and from the pictures what type of understandings are coming out? There, from an aspect of ornament, the learners come to understand the different people who are making ornaments, the persons who are wearing ornaments, what are the different kinds of ornaments, what are the materials used for ornaments, and what are the different occasions where ornaments are wearing, then the different parts of the body organs, and we can see what ornaments are worn in other countries. So these type of understandings can be elicited through these visual art forms. So I thought that you got an understanding how you can use the visual art forms when NEP policy 2020 is emphasizing the art integration. How you would integrate these art forms? So when you integrate these art forms, you can see that there are different kinds of abilities that is happening through this integration of art education. What are the abilities that is happening is that a child develop fine motor skills and hand-eye coordination, and to develop control of materials, tools and techniques. Here, one thing I want to highlight is that when you deal with a special learner, there a normal scissor will not work. A different type of scissor should be used by the special needs learners because their hand-eye coordination may be in a different aspect. So what as a teacher you have to know is that different types of things you have to make arrange before teaching in the visual art forms. The second one, through the integration of art education in your curricular areas, the second skill that is develop mathematical skills. How you can develop mathematical skills? Normally the question comes, this type of visual art forms may be very relevant in language subject or in social science subject or humanities subject. No, it's not like that. In every subject you can use. It depends upon your articulation. How do you articulate? How you can develop mathematical skills? See, that recognize the need for more or less in adding water to paint. Suppose you are teaching the child to paint. So how much amount of water you have to add? More or less. The concept of more or less you can teach through this art form, that painting, through the art form of painting. And next, develop spatial awareness through making the small scale or large scale construction. See, take the case of building blocks, the construction of building blocks. So here, from the blocks, the children may start building different types of constructions. There the development of the spatial intelligence is happening. You know that the concept of multiple intelligence, Howard Gardner is specifying. So there is One intelligence, that is the spatial kinesthetic intelligence, spatial intelligence, visual intelligence. So this type of intelligence is developing through these visual art forms. So what is happening here? Develop spatial awareness through making small scale and large scale constructions. So I have stated an example of block building. What are the concepts that is developing in this block building is that the child is able to identify different blocks, the shapes, the colors, and how to arrange the different blocks to create a separate construction, what is there in his or her mind. And next skill, that is develop communication and language skills. Just making and developing a clay presentation, it doesn't convey any meaning. How do you express? What artistic expression you have in your mind, that is important in this communication and language skills. And what is the other skill that is developing through this art integration is that it develops social skills by being provided with new context in which they work individually and collaboratively. What are the social skills? Sharing of materials. Next social skill, indicate own needs in relation to materials. So, show sensitivity to the needs of others. Show others how to do task. Then, respond to request to tidy up. Take responsibility for tidying up. So, cleaning. You know that in the case of Rangoli also, that is the aspect that is left to the women. What the women are doing early morning, they rise up and what they will clean the front floor. So cleanliness, the concept of cleanliness can be developed, which is an important aspect in this COVID situation, that cleanliness, hand washing we are telling. But here through the Rangoli concept also, what concept you can develop, that is cleaning the flows, and then only the picture of the Rangoli may be drawn. So this type of skills, understandings can be developed. Then what type of skill? The other skills, develop ICT skills. You know that now it is easy to see different kinds of visual art forms as it is everything available in the internet. So here access or programs on the computer using the conventional mouse or other devices, roller balls, touch screens, concept keyboards, everything can be developed. This type of skills, ICT skills also you can develop. See the situation in a geography class, think about, suppose you are teaching about the weather. There are lot of weather forecast with pictures you can show. And you can give such type of activities to the learners and you can assess their understandings, how it is made. Now I am going to another concept. Suppose you want to teach the concept of means of communication. How will you teach means of communication through visual art forms? See, the first thing I am starting from the primitive person who is doing fire. You know that when there is man in the primitive age, there is no language developed. There is no verbal communication. Only signs they are using. So through signs, how they can deliver their communication. So through this, what is happening? Fire is the first means of communication. How it becomes the first means of communication? So you see the visual representation of means of communication. The fire, through the fire, the other people will come to know that a person is conveying something. So all the people will come together to the place where there is fire taking place. So this is the first means of communication. Next, when the people come together, there will be the face-to-face communication. So you can see a girl and a boy communicating each other. And next, when you want to send a communication far places, distant places, it's not possible through fire or face-to-face. So what is needed? The pigeon post. You can see the picture of the pigeon post. Suppose through the pigeon post it is not possible. Suppose a king want to declare a royal proclamation. What thing he is doing? Using drum. Through drum, he will inform to the community, to the place that something the king want to convey. So the drum. And the next one, when the king want to send a confidential matter to a distant place, the horse and the person with the information, or with the flute, he is passing through the horse. So the horse is also used as a means of communication. Then comes the postal service, which we are familiar. And then the telegraph, the telegraphic machine, the electronic telegraph machines is coming. Then you can see the printing. With the printing press, there occurs a vast media of communication. So through the print medias, you see, know that through the print medias, you are able to understand what is this drama and art in education, because you had a print media. Suppose you don't have a print media, you see the next, the internet. What forms of communication are coming up? The computer, the smartphones, everything is conveying. So now also, how I am communicating to you through online, through Facebook, through Google Meet link, through online sessions. So here you can see the means of communication. So when I want to reach to Jammu Kashmir, or when I want to reach to the Tamil Nadu, when I want to reach to this Rajasthan, when I want to reach to Punjab, is it possible? It is easily possible through online communication. So these are the means of communication. Whether the teacher use any verbal words? No. Through pictures, the child will get an understanding how a person can convey the idea of means of communication. So this is all about the session about the means of communication. Now I am going through the activity, what you are supposed to do in afternoon session. So in your handbook, I thought that all of you got the handbook for the practical activities. In that, in page number 54, you can see the activity. Here, the activity, the objective is that understand the meaning of the term visual art and identify different visual art forms that can be used as tools for enhancing students' learning. So here there is a during workshop activity and post workshop activity. During workshop activity, 3 topics are given. I have given the 3 topics on the screen. That is journey of cotton fiber to cotton cloth, journey of a rice seed in a field to our kitchen, journey of a water drop from lake to ocean. These are the 3 activities that are specified in your practical book, handbook. So from these 3 activities, you have to take any one activity. You see what activity I have given here? Journey of communication, means of communication. So in this way, you can represent your activity, that is journey of cotton fiber to cotton cloth, or journey of a rice seed in a field to our kitchen, or journey of a water drop from lake to ocean. So in this way, it is a small activity. It depends on your artistic expression, on your imagination. It depends on your creativity aspect. So from these 3 activity, any one activity you can take, and then the post workshop activity, what you have to do, you have to present it in a visual art forms. I will show you once again how I presented the means of communication. That is the first one, fire, face-to-face, pigeon, drum, horse, post office, electronic telegraph, printing, and the internet telecommunications. Next, coming in the same way, you have to draw in the picture form. Give it in the middle the theme of the activity, and throughout give the different pictures. And in your handbook, there is a mistake that there is a shape which is given, that is wrongly printed there. So don't think about the shapes what is given in page number 55. You confine up to post workshop activity, that is use of appropriate visual art forms based on the theme. Up to that you concise, but you have to give the activity in the same format. I have shown you one example. I thought that you may not have any difficulty in developing this activity in the afternoon session. You give the main theme in the center and visualize and express in a creative way the concept. Take only one concept, either journey of cotton fiber to cotton cloth, or journey of a rice seed in a field to our kitchen, or journey of a water drop from lake to ocean. Any one you take and prepare in this format and send it online to your the respective study centers or PICs you have to send. Hope that you have enjoyed this session and you got an understanding how visual art forms leads can be used in the teaching learning process in an effective way. So from today's session, I thought that you got the learning outcomes that to identify or to define the term visual art forms, you can classify the different types of arts, and you can visualize the major concept in different art forms in your teaching learning process. Thank you for your patient listening, and thank you and all the best for the afternoon session activities. Thank you.